Welcome to GigaBrain, brought to you by Spell Labs. This is the podcast where we speak to the smartest minds across the DeFi space, exploring the ideas, innovations, and people shaping the future of crypto.
And we are live. Welcome, guys, again to another episode of GigaBrain Podcast, here giving you the best hot takes in the market for DeFi, Hyperliquid, everything related to what is hot in the market nowadays. Today, we are here with Ronald, co-founder of Hyperbuilder, a fast-growing collective that is empowering the next generation of builders, creators, and traders across the Hyperliquid ecosystem. In this episode, we are going to explore Ronald's journey on Hyperbuilder as a company, what's next for HyperEVM, Hypercore, plus his experiences in building in Asia specifically. So very curious about this episode. Ronald, thank you very much for being here. We know each other already. We already partnered with Hyperwave before. We already did events together. So for me, it's a great honor to talk with a friend, and bring a friend on board to GigaBrain. So kickstarting with the first round of introduction. So please, Ronald, for the people that don't know you, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you get into crypto and what fascinates you about building communities and specifically on Hyperliquid. The stage is yours.
Oh, thank you, Joel. Thanks a lot. And yeah, we have met a couple of times before in person. We've also chatted online. Having worked with you guys, it's always been a pleasure. First of all, before we begin, thank you for inviting me to this podcast. I'm really grateful to you guys. I've watched some of your podcasts before. They were great. And also, congratulations on your TGE of Hyperwave. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ronald. I'm one of the co-founders of Hyperbuilder. And for those of you who don't know Hyperbuilder, we are a community that helps on-chain builders, creators, and traders to turn decent ideas into shippable products on Hyperliquid, be it either HyperEVM or Hypercore. We are a team of two main co-founders. The other one is the main founder, Ellie. So we are a bit allergic to busy work and obsessed with getting users. Yeah. Not just retweets and posts. So going back to your next question, I would say how I got into crypto and building communities. It's been a long story.
I always love the founders story. That founder story is the best and most fascinating part for me, because I love also to be on your seat on the other side and also talk about my story. And I love when people also tell us their story, because that's what builds you, right? That's what probably build why you are here doing Hyperbuilder. So very curious and please, I want to know, I think I don't know everything. So I'm here also hearing for the first time.
Of course. I think you'll know a lot today. So, absolutely. 100% agree with that. It's always good to know, the people you work with, the people you constantly want to collaborate with. It's also always good to know their backstory, where they started, and if you have anything, or if you're on the same wavelength when it comes to, building things together or shipping things together. But without any further ado, I would say, like many, I started with a lot of curiosity. Obviously, not everyone starts directly from Web3. We are always a part of the traditional industry at one point. Curiosity, small trade, rabbit hole, I would say. It was in the early days of my university, and where I got to know from some friends you can make money, trading crypto, people mining Bitcoin. And then I thought at first, it's all a scam and, they're going to lose eventually. But then I was a hardcore gamer at that point. So when I finished university, I started my first, I would say, corporate job. It was one of the big companies in China called Tencent. It was working with a publishing side of Wild Rift. And obviously I was a mobile player as well. So at that time there was like new games emerging, there was Web3 games, there was Axie Infinity, which was like,
Love that. Love that.
starting to get eyeballs. I think
Yep.
you might have heard of that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Of course,
So
yes.
that's where the guild system started, and people were talking about, oh, we can make money, we can make tremendous amount of money with these
Yep.
guilds. And then you have esports team. Or what if you can't win those leagues? What if you can't win any tournaments? You don't get anything, right? So you're grinding like day in, day out, but you're getting nothing out of it. So then I started like, I got into that. I played some games, made some money. I wouldn't say like not like life changing money, but still a decent amount of money to for my daily expenses. And then obviously I would like equally dividing amongst my other teammates. But then I started trading a bit. Like I stayed in crypto just because of the people, right? Because of the builders solving real problems, even during like midnight. So after that, after I left China, I wanted to get into the industry, like work in the industry. So my first role was with carve.io. So they're building a data deepin protocol. So I'm not sure what they're doing right now. I haven't checked much of their progress, but at that time they were doing more like a data layer for AI. But then I wanted to be more like I've always been the front facing guy in my team. So at that time, one of those L2s on Optimism called Ancient 8, they came to me and then they were like, oh, we are hiring a BD manager, and then we would want. And obviously I was like transitioning from one country to another, and I've never worked in Vietnam before. So that was like one of those opportunities for me to explore that market, because Vietnam was crypto heavy and really crypto native, what I knew at that time, and it still is. And it was great. It was great working alongside some great minds. We're also backed by big investors like Pantera, Shima, Coinbase, Dragonfly. So I love the team. It was great working there. But like I said, at some point there was like gaming was diminishing. And obviously I was getting into other trenches as well and trading at some point. And I thought, okay, it's a time for transition. Then obviously Ellie came to me and she was like, I'm building Hyperbuilder, and I'm starting this community from scratch. Would you want to be a part of it? I was like, yes, absolutely. So there was no like stopping from then. So yeah, I think I realized I loved organizing that momentum, making it easier for good teams to find distribution, liquidity, feedback loops, and yada yada yada. So yeah, I think that's what I have been doing. That's the journey so far.
So here, picking up in some details that you said about like China and your traveling to Vietnam, like were there any early experiences from your early jobs that also fueled in some inspiration for Hyperbuilder specifically, or do you think that Hyperbuild is a new journey that is completely separate from everything else that you have been doing in the past?
Yeah, so I think this is more like I would say there are lots of reasons. More like because Hyperliquid itself is like the open source ethos, right? Ship small, ship often. So that's something that really resonates well with that. I got a lot of inspiration, not just me, my other co-founder as well. We got a lot of inspiration from Hyperliquid ethos, from the community side and also the way the Hyperliquid team handles everything, right? Say they quietly ship new features, their TG channels are pure signal, there's not much noise. The community discovers updates by actually using the product. This is what we started doing it when we got into Hyperliquid, and that's what like most of us do, including yourself. I'm pretty sure about that. And that's only possible when it's something like people genuinely love and use every day, right? So
Right.
what I feel is Hyperliquid doesn't even have a marketing department, as far as I know.
Yeah,
Yet
I think they
everyone,
don't have. Yeah, they don't have. No,
they
no.
don't. Yeah, they don't. Right. That's the funny thing, right? And everyone using Hyperliquid becomes the marketing department of
Exactly.
Hyperliquid,
Exactly.
including you and I. So it's
Exactly.
something you can only see in this ecosystem, right? Nowhere
True.
else.
True.
I'm not here to fault any other ecosystem, but I've been in obviously in Binance, in Ethereum, Optimism, but I haven't seen it anywhere else.
True.
So
True. No, it's different. I like for me it's the same thing. Like I feel it's different, you know, like think that I think that you have here like 3, maybe 4 main ecosystems, right? You have BTC, very OG, more like store of value kind of narrative. You have ETH with the DeFi. You have Solana trying to take over ETH, but it's not really the same thing. Then you have Hyperliquid that it's kind of slowly taking over ETH and Solana at the same time, and it's becoming like, at least the way I see it, a big fight between just BTC, which is the OG preferred from banks, from MicroStrategy type of companies, right? So just hold forever type thing. And then you have the traders, which are in Hyperliquid, and people that are moving insane amounts of money. They are on Hyperliquid. They are not anywhere else. So I think it's just different, right? Yeah.
yeah, and also I personally don't think there's much competition because obviously, even Jeff says that, right? So we're not here to compete; we are here to work collectively, collaboratively. And in terms of trading, I think, BTC obviously has a massive take in that. But I think Solana and then Hyperliquid, there also Solana has a lot of traders. It all started from meme coin, I would say, from Pump Fund to all those meme coin platforms, and even like launch pads as well. I haven't seen much degen traders in EVM, honestly, but yeah, in Solana, I was also a Solana trader before.
Yeah. Solana is where the degens are. That's true. That's very true. That's very true. But anyways, so speaking now about Hyperbuilder, that's why we are here to talk about. So take us from where the idea was originated and what's the mission and what's the long-term goal of the company. So tell us a little bit about Hyperbuilder, what you are doing and where are you going?
For sure. I think how the idea started, and a North Star, I would say, we saw a gap. We saw tons of talent, but fragmented playbooks. We didn't really have a mission at that time, but our idea was to help builders go from that idea to testnet traction, mainnet users, with real liquidity and this repeatable process, right? So because this goes on and on. So the long term, I would say, what we want to do is like we want to be APAC centered. We do want to be globally plugged into that builder network that lowers the time to first user on Hyperliquid to days, not months. But that's what we want to do. We want to help all the like starting from small scale to large scale. We want to help. And then there are even like at times that projects, the newer ones that are entering Hyperliquid space, they have asked us like, oh, so what do you get out of it? Like, do they pay you heavily? I was like, no, it doesn't work like that. We are all self-funded, and then we're not VC backed. So yeah, it's like, we do have some collaboration agreements, but obviously we're not doing this to generate, to get money out of you guys. So it's not, that's like an absolute myth. We do have a lot of events where we do, regional side events that we have hosted. We've already tapped into Vietnam. We had our first side event there. The turnout was excellent. We had 700 plus registering. We had about 250 to 300 attending. Then we had a more exclusive event.
GM Vietnam or something, or was like separate?
Yeah. That was in GM Vietnam. No, not the other one. It was in GM Vietnam. Yeah, in Hanoi. Okay. So that was in August, I believe.
August, yeah, the first
August. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
first. I think it was on the 8th of August. I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And then we had one in Japan, because we have a local team in Japan. We also collaboratively work with some creators, Hyperliquid native creators as well in Japan region. And then we had one, we had a more like a build, not really a build, I would say more like a private dinner, private gathering for traders and then content creators. It was great as well. You could just see from our posts from the past. It was fantastic. It wasn't intended to have a huge gathering. We only wanted 30, 35 people joining, and then we had more than that, and it turned out to be fantastic. And then we got to know so many of Hyperliquid native individuals in Japan, because Japan is more like a closed space. I would say not many people think about entering that part of the world. Obviously, there was some cultural barriers and language barrier, but we were able to overcome those, and then obviously we could be the entry point for those who wish to generate a lot of trading volume in that part of the world.
My next question here is, how does Hyperbuilder really bridge the gap between the builders, creators, traders, and how does it practically empower someone to the new space? For example, is through education, through partnerships, visibility, events. Can you elaborate a little bit here on that part?
Yeah, for sure. We want so there are a few ways that we want to achieve this practically. By educational, I think you might have seen Ellie's content before. She has so many long form articles, annotated checklists, templates, documents, dashboards, and a lot of things. She's also shared some of those, I would say, presentations on the spaces, and then even the spaces she's hosted before. And some of the events that, we also had a side event in Korea, which you were, obviously you guys were a part of. And then you were also speaking in that panel. We also shared to some of our participants of what the purpose of the ethos of Hyperbuilder is. Educational content, that's what we always want to do. And that's how we started, right? Templates and tooling, sample flows for builder codes, HIP3 market previews, then all these things, and most importantly, distribution and visibility, right? So, like I said, if you need to tap into these regions, or let's say increase your TVL, onboard new traders, tap into the regional markets like Korea, Japan, or China, Taiwan, Vietnam. We are well versed in these regions, and then we also have local teams working with us. And then this is something that we always want to do. I think that's pretty much that's like how we started, and that's what we are doing right now.
And what's your advice for new builders, new people coming in into Hyperliquid, and how can these people benefit or even tap into your network and become more connected with Hyperliquid builders and projects?
Right. Okay, so I want to keep it as it's more I would say opinions of my own. I would say I don't want to say I'm the one to best advise someone, a builder, and then get flooded at some point. I don't want to be that guy. But even with people I engage with, I know it's not I care about my personal image, right, in the space. I don't want to be the guy, this guy, I don't want to work with him. He's not great, speaking to you online, and on Twitter, he ignores me, he funds me. Don't want to be that. But coming back to this, advice would be, for builders, build for user you can DM, right? If I'm a builder, I'll build for, I'm not saying one particular user, or let's say a small group of users. If you can't name 10 target users today, you're not ready, right? So if I say I want to build this for a small group of friends that I have, they are actively trading on Hyperliquid. Those 10 people, if I can't name them, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to build yet. So this is one piece of advice. I there's no such playbook, right? So everyone has their own opinion, but I feel like this is something really important, right? Ship tiny, ship on a occasional basis. So small working slice beats a long roadmap. So we know the Hyperliquid ethos, right? So we need to stand on our shoulders, reuse that Hyperliquid primitives, read pre-compiles for data. So you tap the same deep order books instead of bootstrapping liquidity from zero. That would be really helpful. How you can, I think that would be those important pieces of advice I could give.
Make it very summarized for our listeners. It's about getting engaged, going on Twitter, going on Discord, getting engaged with the community. And then when you know people, when you actually know the ecosystem better, you start building or you start actually doing something. So it's all about tapping into the ecosystem, tapping into the community, and then you start your own thing.
Right. Yeah. So the point is like the overall idea is okay. So you say Hyperliquid is permissionless. Let's just go and build something, right? No, that's not going to work. Unless you have the ecosystem. Okay, if you don't know the ecosystem, that's still okay. That's still fine. That's what we are here for. That's what we are doing, right? We're helping out new builders to educate them, right? So, but at least some of the users that you wanna have as your first, batch of users. Let's say it can be 5 users. It doesn't matter. But those 5 users would be your most hardcore loyal users.
Absolutely. When you are looking for investment and you look into friends and family, right? Because these people want to support you first and then you go through the other stages of capital. So that's normal, right? So no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you for that, for those insights. So for people that are listening, the most important thing is tap into the community and be active, pretty much. So, and can you give us some examples of like successful collaborations or projects that even emerged through Hyperbuilder partnerships, or it's too early to talk about those, or are you cooking up something with some communities? Just curious to know.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, absolutely. We'll drop some alphas if you need. No, not really. But yeah, we've always supported everyone equally. Obviously, I joined late. Ellie was the one who started this from the very first day. As long as I believe they're building like good products with good intentions, so we're always ready to support them, just like yourself, and your team. So many builders on Hyperliquid, they struggle in the early stages, right? Especially with their go-to-market and then connections. We've helped several of them with that. For example, we assisted multiple trading platforms like Octo, let's say Wallet V, Xtrade in onboarding more traders to their platforms. Wallet V and Xtrade, they were also part of our event in Korea. We've also tried to give builders more regional exposure in like markets like Japan, China, Vietnam. For example, Hyperswap, they also had their TGE with you guys, right? They've become much more popular in Vietnam, and even like Wallet V, they have a huge bunch of Vietnamese traders on. And now Cat Bali is well known in both Vietnam and Japan as well, thanks in part to Hyperbuilder support. So, there are many other builders we've tried to support in the ecosystem. A lot to name actually, but I believe we've done our best to help them grow within that ecosystem. Harmonix, I would say, LitTrade, Neko, Slash Trade, Liquid Launch, Ortiz, and there was this one, Felix. So many of them.
The event in Korea was amazing. Like I felt that everyone was there, right? So everyone was there. Everyone was the speaker panel was amazing. Everyone doing the keynotes. Like I think like and it was a small space, which was good because then it was just the people that we needed. Was like maybe at peak capacity, like maybe 60 people max, but those 60 people were the ones that you needed to talk and the ones that you needed to partner. So for me, that's the most valuable thing, right? So you are not like doing a mega event with like 2,000 people and then you just talk with five and then you leave and then you get no leads. Here, it's like the 60 people are all important and you have time to speak with the 60 people. So for me, that's a successful event. So like from the Hyperwave side, we'll be always ready and mega bullish to be on your events going forward 100% because we know that they are really high quality. So dropping here the alpha 2 for our listeners, like these guys' events are the best. So you need to go 100%.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, we put a lot of thoughts and efforts into this, and Ellie especially, not just from the ideation to the execution, but also to all those nitty gritty, right? Even like the merchandise, she puts up so much thoughts into that and making it like aesthetically like beautiful, so eye catching, more creative, I would say. And not just our sponsors, including yourself, have said that, but lots of other people, attendees who have come and they were like, "Oh, can we get one of those? I've never seen that anywhere else." And I'm like, yeah, you can. This feels good when people praise these,
100%. And my last question here on this segment will be like, there are any lessons learned from successful teams building on Hyperliquid that are also influencing you in a positive way to continue to build Hyperbuilder as good as possible and as good as you are, of course, showing it to be?
Yeah, for this, I wouldn't want to. Obviously, I always want to avoid the names of the teams. I already mentioned some earlier, but just some points, some people think, oh, I'm promoting them. No, I'm actually not. But some of them are actually good examples to learn from. But there are also some good lessons from teams or like OG teams on Hyperliquid. They treat distribution as a feature, right? Not an afterthought. So the design, for certainty, good UX, clear state, zero doubt on what just happened, right? They piggyback on HIP3 and builder codes for growth instead of like, reinventing the exchange. They don't want to say like, they're not going with that thought that like we're gonna flip this ecosystem, we're gonna change everything, and then this is gonna be a life-changing product for a lot of users. No, that's not right. So they're following those Hyperliquid ethos. They're also actively leveraging the builder codes and then doubling down the efforts on making the user experience better. Because you see there are lots of trading platforms, lots of trading terminals. There are yield liquid staking protocols, so many of them, right? So which one should you use, right? Why do you want to use that? Why not something else, right? So like I said, I want to avoid the names, but like I said, but you want to see the UX, right? The user experience. So obviously they're not really
perfect. So for you, it's about community. UX is about how good and fast people ship and the quality, which you see in Hyperliquid, and you don't see that so much in other ecosystems. Pretty much like the way that people are shipping on Hyperliquid is just different. So I do agree with that, and that's why we are building here. So switching up the topic here a little bit for Hyper EVM specifically. So why is Hyper EVM such a good place to build, in your opinion, and what sets it apart technically or even philosophically from other EVM chains? This is a spicy one, so I want to know your opinion here.
Yeah. Let me think of philosophically. I would say I would say like, okay, building on Hyper EVM, right? It's the same trust base as the exchange, right? So Hyper EVM is secured by Hyper BFT and it sits alongside Hypercore. So the contracts can read the core state. For example, let's say prices, balances, write actions, right? Trade, stake, transfer via the system calls, which is rare in other EVMs. So that shrinks your idea to live liquidity path. That's why you should be building on Hyper EVM, right? The philosophy is to ship primitives that compound together, right? For example, order books, vaults, staking, perps. So Builder add that thin logic where the liquidity already exists. Yeah, I think that's what I think. That's why I would encourage builders, and even like those builders, those who are new or they're just transitioning from one ecosystem to another. Building on Hyper EVM would be an easier option for them.
And specifically talking about, I know that you don't like to name names, but maybe if you can give one or two examples of what kind of apps or projects are best suited for Hyper EVM right now that you are looking into, or that you think that can be good, or already in Hyper EVM that are good, that use, if you can give us one or two examples.
Okay, so this is like it's a tricky one. There are lots of them actually, which are like good. I would say they already have Hyper EVM.
Okay.
And I personally think like you guys also have Hyper EVM, don't you?
Yes.
So should I be promoting you then?
You
but yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, I mean, there are so many of them. I would say, what if there's a native DEX? So for example, it's a HyperSwap, right? So it's a native DEX built on Hyper EVM. Why it stands out, right? So first mover native liquidity, right? So good test for your users to trade on chains own ecosystem. Hyperfi, right? I think you know them. They were also one of the panelists. Leverage lending marketplace specific to Hyperliquid or Hyper EVM. Why it stands out is because it uses the native token infrastructure and shows how lending with leverage loops can sit inside the stack. There's also Hyperlend, I think that's pretty good. A lending platform on Hyper EVM. I think you might have met those guys as well. I think they shows the stack is moving beyond pure trading into DeFi primitives, like lending, borrowing. I think these are some of those. I would say, and yeah, obviously, I hate to say this, but there are also some ecosystem infrastructure tools, even some wallets from centralized exchanges. They are supporting Hyper EVM, for example, BitGet wallet, which I absolutely do not want to use. Yeah, but they, they are also having, right? So that means they know that where the liquidity is coming from, what the users are more inclined into. So that's why they have added Hyper EVM.
Yeah, no. So like, I was going to pass to our next topic, but if you want to continue, please.
Yeah, no, I would just say like my top four, Hyperfi, HyperSwap, you guys, yeah. I'm not saying because you're here, but I'm actually quite bullish on you guys. So, Hyperlend as well. I think these four would be my top ones.
Perfect. So going on to one topic that I think it's really, really interesting and that we want to explore is, I know that you are in Asia. You already spoke about China, already spoke about Vietnam. And for me, even as a builder, founder, investor, I always look into Asia as like one of the best places to be, to get liquidity, to build, to look into the next narratives. And I, like me as a European myself, like I think Europe is very slow. America is faster, but is a bit different. It's about numbers. And if the numbers are right, you can get it passed through the door. Europe is way more about connections and old money. And Asia is about right now. It's like, if it makes sense, we are advancing, right? So that's why I love Asia. It's like a very fast-paced place. So in your opinion, why Asia is such a hotspot right now for on-chain innovation and specifically Hyperliquid? And in your opinion, will this continue for 1, 2, 3 cycles ahead? Or how do you see it, especially that now you are living permanently in Asia? So how do you see it?
Oh, well, the last part, permanently. Well, I've lived, a huge part of my my youth in Asia. But like permanent, the word itself is temporary for me. Just kidding. Um, I think, yeah, since I have spent majority of my career here, and also working alongside lots of Asian builders, I think there's less talk. Okay, there's in Asia, specifically in East and Southeast Asia, there's less talk, more shipping. Builders, they share working snippets over Twitter threads, um, and there is a strong APAC, I would say, enthusiasm for builders. It's Korea, Taiwan, Vietnam, China, Southeast Asia. Vietnam is part of Southeast Asia anyway. So Singapore, I would say fast feedback cycles, and then quick releases. These happen, very quickly. The flip side, obviously, the documentations, they evolve quickly, so we must keep up to all these. Like you mentioned in US, or let's say Europe, I mean, the things go very slow. And obviously, having my other company is European. I'm not saying we are slow, but I know I have
different.
compared.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different. It's very different. Yes.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say like having even in Asia itself, the culture is so different, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, there's also a religious thing that comes into play. So when you host, let's say, side events, or even when you do some trading competitions, let's say, for example, if you're focusing on one particular culture, or let's say one particular country, you want to make it more culturally inclined, so that they take part in your trading contest, right? They feel like, oh, this is so culturally relevant to us. We feel like we're part of it, right? Even if we are just trading on one of those protocols.
Can you give an example specifically for that?
Example, I would say, for example, if you are, let's say, doing something with China, let's say, for example, you're hosting a trading competition amongst the Chinese traders, you want to work with the creators, for example, those who speak the language, but also who are culturally aligned with, like, let's say, there are so many festivals, right? So if you want to do something, pick one of those times where we can do something and make an impact, create those let's say graphics, or let's say some content that clearly aligns with or is culturally relevant to them, right? It's not just it's not just about the product, but also about the user experience, right? And then if your product has a language feature, right? So if they have any I think most of the products, they have multiple languages now, but for example, if you are like looking to tap into for example, South Korea, right? South Korea, the users, they are heavily reliant on Kakao and Upbit exchange, which is like one of the biggest exchanges in South Korea. So if you have like Upbit login or a Kakao login, it's much easier to onboard South Korean traders rather than just working with simply through the KOLs, right? So, okay, what will I'm not saying it's not a good idea to work with the local KOLs. It obviously is. But then if you have, okay, for example, as a user, if I'm one of those users and I'm using your product, and I got to know from one of those creators that I followed, and then I downloaded the product, or I just went to their website, and then, oh, I see that there is a great different. It's in local language. It also has a Kakao login, so it's fairly easy for me. I don't have to go through that painful procedure of downloading an external app for this, or another wallet for this, right? So yeah, this is something that's
very insightful, and you are absolutely right there. even for me, I never thought about that in such depth that like including cacao or something like that's actually crazy good. Like that's a really bullish idea actually. Thank you for sharing that. That's really nice.
Thanks,
That's pretty
man. No,
nice.
absolutely. I'm always happy to share. But I would say, like, I mean, in
So
short, like if you
Mhm.
just ask me like how it is different, right? Um, so let's say in East Asia, right? Or let's say, for example, if I go to another country, like let's say China, I live there, right? It's chat native distribution, short cycles, concrete ROI, strong ops culture, right? When it comes to West, where West is also quite big, so you say Europe, or let's say more public narrative, open source discussion, longer planning, right? Broader community buy-in.
but yeah, thank you for your insights. So I have two last questions here.
For
So we
sure.
are already a little bit over time, but that's fine. So I love these answers, which are really
I'm the one to
precise.
blame for this.
No, all good, all good. So two things. First is in a 1-2 minute short answer, what trends are you most excited about for the next 12 months? And then can you tell us what's the future of Hyperbuilder and how can people get in touch? So last 2 minutes is yours.
Right. So by trends, do you mean the trends in Asia? Because we were talking about Asia, right? So, or you it's in
Yeah,
general,
yeah.
right? Okay.
I
So,
will say in crypto in general, like you can
mm,
broader, you can just say Hyperliquid period, and that's it. That's your answer. Like that would be my answer, you know. So
okay. I'll obviously I want to talk about where I am, where I've lived, and then where I have like what kind of projects we have worked with. I would say Asia. Why Asia is such a hotspot, and it will continue being a hotspot. Right. This is one of those. If you go to X and then you see all those trending topics, mass adoption that meets market depth. Right. Asia, especially Central, South Asia. Now we've seen like there's conferences coming up in Oceania, Australia. There's like a conference next month, I believe. Those rank among the top regions by crypto inflows, right? Korea remains like one of the most active retail markets globally. And this is like, I'm not talking about from my experiences, I'm talking with data, right? With facts. If you see that, and if you ask people who have been to the past two conferences in Korea, KBW and all those, they will definitely agree with me. Builder distribution is chat first, like Telegram, Discord native user bases that make it easier to test, iterate, and even like actually get users, right? So will it continue? I think yes. It is like more like a 24/7 culture, friendlier product experimentation cycle. I think this is going to continue. These are the trends, and also, you know, builders in Asia especially, they are more pragmatic, shipping led. I think I already mentioned that they have that mentality. Can users try this tomorrow? So if I'm building something, right, if I'm shipping something, so my first question will be like, can my users try this tomorrow, right? So I want to do it like, make it ready. It's not that I want to do it like incomplete and just ship it tomorrow, but like, can the MVP be ready? Is there something available for my users to at least experience, right? Even with a test code, and then we can sign like some kind of NDA and then, figure it out later, like iterate later. Distribution through communities, right? This is something that is, I would say, the trend. It just goes on and on with even KOLs as well. The distribution is through communities and KOLs over big ad spends, which you see in the traditional industry. They spend heavily on big ads. Yeah. So I think on the flip side, teams must level up security and documentation as they scale. Because Asia, I hate to say this, but it also sees the outsized hack headlines. So the credibility really matters here. You see a lot of hackers. You see a lot of users complaining, or even like even some whales, they're getting their wallets drained at some point. so yeah, they have to level up that security and documentations as they scale up. right? This is something that I would love to see this trend. Mm. I think the ones that I'm excited about, if I focus on Hyperliquid itself, right? And the things that I'm really excited about in the next, I'll keep it like short, like maybe next 12 months, right? So the HRP3 market's expanding beyond crypto. Like say synthetic exposures where oracles are reliable, or even like native dollars. I think this is something we have talked about in our panel before. Native dollars, some Hyperliquid, USDH going live, and synthetic stables building app-specific flows. One-click deposits becoming the UX norm. I'm not sure if you've used Layer Zero. I think they're doing something like that with pulling assets in from many chains without the bridging headache. Builder codes, obviously, maturing into a durable dev economy around interfaces, right? The pros, obviously, there are pros and cons for this. Immediate monetization, which we all know. But the catch here is competition compresses the free fee share unless you add like any real value. So yeah, but this is one of the trends that we are really excited about, but also comes with those drawbacks, I would say.
Perfect. So HIP3 builder codes.
Yeah.
And
native
the next
dollars,
step for
one-click deposits. Yes.
Amazing. No, thank you for that. So to close, let us know about very, very shortly what's next for Hyperbuilder and how can people get involved. Your website, Discord, Twitter, whatever you want to share, and then we close in 1 minute.
Sure. Hyperbuilder, like I said, it's a playground for you guys, for everyone, for you, for me, to come contribute, no matter what you do. Think of it as more like a network of builders, creators, traders. If you are a content creator and you want to grow your career and then earn in Web3, we're also here to help you with that. We can have a chat. If you work with a project and you want to connect with creators, you want to build your brand and you want to scale it, we are also here to help you with that. There are some, there are lots of content creators, lots of KOLs that they work, like, for example, if you say, oh, why should I work with you guys, why not directly with the KOL? It saves me, it can cut costs for me. No, like some of them, they have their own cabal, they have their own groups, and if you work with one, and they will know, the others will know how much you're spending on one. And for some reason, if you are willing to spend, let's say, X amount of money on one creator or one KOL, and the other one you're let's say less than X, and it will be a problem. They wouldn't want to do it, even though they were ready to do, they intended to do it, they wouldn't do, because they know that with the other creator you have already spent X. So this is something that we are ready to bridge, because we already have the resources. If you are a builder, you wanna bring exclusive trading perks and alphas, and you wanna explore which projects that you're interested in, like even like other projects on Hyperliquid to collaborate. So yeah, we also have opportunities for that. We'll keep doing what we believe is best for the ecosystem, what is best for the other builders in the space, onboarding more people and creating more like engaging content. We'll also be doing more events in the upcoming year. So yes,
are you going to be at DEF CON too, by the way?
Not DEF CON, unfortunately, but we are next year.
But you're going to be at Consensus Hong Kong or East Denver, maybe?
Yes, we are looking at one of those, East Denver or Consensus Hong Kong. We want to do some events there. But for this year, I think we had enough events. But it also burns you out at some point,
I completely understand, man. I completely understand. For me, DEF CON will be the last one, I think. And then next year, probably Consensus and East Denver to kickstart the year. But yeah, Ronald, thank you so much. If you can just share quickly your Twitter, Discord, website, just to close.
Yeah, for sure. My Twitter is the same as my Telegram. So it's RONAPARHAIT. That's the handle. Feel free to reach out. Whenever you want. If you want to follow me, feel free to follow. I'll follow you back. Just to respect that. On Discord, I'm not really active there, but it's also the same handle. My Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, I always like to keep it uniform.
Hyperbuilder Twitter, it's just Hyperbuilder.
Yeah, so if you just go to X and then type Hyperbuilder, it will just show up, because I don't think there is any other.
Do you guys also have Discord for Hyperbuilder or not?
Yeah, we actually have a private group for creators. We have a private group for builders, invite only. But we also have a trading group, a trading channel that Ellie runs, where it's open for everyone. You feel free to join that as well. So you can either reach out to me or Ellie. Her handle is Ellie _ NFTs. You can reach out to her on DM. Our DMs are always open. Feel free to reach out if you want to join anything. And we always reply to all the DMs.
Amazing. Ronald, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for all the alpha. So guys, this was another GigaBrain podcast, bringing you all the alpha straight to your home, straight to your devices, the best places, like we are on everywhere, Spotify, YouTube, you name it, we are there. And so next, we are going to have also an amazing guest. So stick together with us, because we are going to continue to release more and more of these episodes. So if you also have any guests specifically that you want to see here interviewed by us, let us know. And we are always happy to bring new people and new alpha on board. Again, Ronald, thank you so much. And guys, I see you in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks a lot for today. I appreciate it.
GigaBrain is brought to you by Swell Labs. To find out more about Swell, go to swellnetwork.io and make sure to search for GigaBrain in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Hit the follow button so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks for listening.